Good evening, everybody, and welcome back to Embrace Our Difference 2023. This is the third iteration of the event, and we'll be kicking off with 20 minutes of introductory videos, and we'll be back at 4:30 to launch the whole event and take you around. This year, we'll be focusing on diversity in the workplace, and we look forward to seeing you shortly.
It didn't cost us any more to make reasonable adjustments, and we have excellent, committed staff who want to work. The surprising benefit was the change in our workplace culture and the insights that people with disabilities have brought into our business. We haven't found it difficult to make reasonable adjustments at all. Working with the coordinators from the Jersey Employment Trust, we've managed to adapt to suit whatever the requirements were to the candidates coming in to help us.
All right, welcome back, everybody. And we are here today now with Hidden Disability Sunflower Jersey. And we're here with Ruth, who's going to talk a little bit about how they're supporting Embrace Our Difference and what they're doing to help diversity in the workforce.
Hi, thank you very much. So my name is Ruth Rabbe. I'm with the Hidden Disability Sunflower. And for those of you that don't know, the Hidden Disability Sunflower is for somebody to wear. They choose to do so. It is optional to indicate that they have a hidden disability. So we're here today, delighted that Jersey at the end of September became a sunflower-friendly island. And we're here today as part of Embrace Difference to raise awareness and trying to get more organisations to make themselves inclusive and accessible for all people, especially people with invisible disabilities.
Welcome back, everybody, and we are now here with Enable Jersey, who are going to talk a little bit about how they're supporting Embrace Our Difference and diversity in the workplace in 2023-2024.
Hi, I'm Suzanne. I think one of the really important things for Enable is making sure that people who are within our community have the opportunity to talk about the things that matter to them, and quite often that is employment and developing skills. That can be really tricky when you've got an additional need. So one of our roles is to make links with other organisations on behalf of those people and alongside them to make sure the opportunities are there and they're supported to access those opportunities.
Thank you very much. All right, welcome back, everybody. We're here with one of the main sponsors, HSBC, at Embrace Our Difference 2023. And we're here with Ryan, who's going to talk a little bit about what HSBC are doing about diversity in the workplace and how they support Embrace Our Difference 2023. Over to you, Ryan.
Oh, thanks very much. And a pleasure to be here, pleasure to be one of the principal sponsors. We've been doing this from the beginning, so it's nice to be at the forefront. And HSBC really has a very strong diversity and inclusion program globally, and never more so here in Jersey. My role is co-chair of the Ability Group, our ERG, so really focusing on hidden disabilities and making sure inclusion carries across everything from the moment you start at HSBC and even before when you're being interviewed at HSBC.
Thank you very much, Ryan. Back, everybody, and now we are here with the Jersey Employment Trust to talk a little bit about how they're supporting Embrace Our Difference and diversity in the workplace.
Thank you. My name is Nikki, and as they said, I work for Jersey Employment Trust, and we help people with disabilities and long-term health conditions to find and maintain employment anywhere. People come to us because maybe they haven't had the right opportunities in the past. And one of the myths may be that people with a disability or long-term health condition can't make a valuable contribution to the workplace. That is so not true. Anybody and everyone can make a valuable contribution and work in the open market, given the right support and environment. People may need more support or help or reasonable adjustments, but given this, they can make a huge contribution towards any business. And that's what we seek to achieve. We want everybody to be given the same opportunity. We want a level playing field for all of our clients, for everybody with a disability or health condition. We believe that everybody should have that opportunity, and that's all we ask. And we are here as an organisation and a charity to work not only with our clients but also with employers to make sure that they are able to help our clients and that we can help the employers to make a smooth progression for the clients into the workplace.
Thank you very much, Nick. Over to you.
I believe that some key areas where Jersey businesses could enhance their support for people with disabilities is thinking more in terms of a long-term sense about the longevity of changes that can be made, rather than just thinking that it might be a temporary change for a specific employee. Because if more permanent changes were made, then it would benefit someone long past the employee's time at the company, because it might even benefit members of the public as well, depending on what the business is and what they offer.
Good evening, Deputy Ferey. We're here at Embrace Our Difference for the third year, and we'd just like to get you to talk a little bit about the value and importance of the event and what we're trying to achieve here today.
Thank you, Alessandro. So, yeah, this is the third event, and I've been involved in these right from the very beginning. And what I've seen is the events have just got bigger and better every year. So I think this as a venue works really well. It's all on one level, and it's accessible for everybody. The number of organisations that we've got networking, talking to people is phenomenal. So I think, you know, the real thrust of this is to bring the issue of equality and diversity to people. So we've got legislation, we know that, and that's part of the picture. But another big part of the picture is changing hearts and minds. And we are very much at the forefront of changing hearts and minds. So this year the focus is particularly on employment and making sure that people with disabilities have the best employment opportunities that they can get. And I think, strangely enough, we're in a situation with our unemployment in Jersey where it's really hard to get good staff. So what we're urging employers to do is think about people with disabilities when you're putting adverts out for jobs, and when you're interviewing people who might have a disability, be honest and open and ask them how the workplace could best work for them. Now, of course, some people might have a hidden disability, so again, be honest and open with people and say, do you have a disability that I can't see? Do you think this workplace would do for you? The law is on your side, but I'd also like to work with you to make sure that we're going to offer you the best experience that this company can offer. People with disabilities have got so much to offer, as much as anybody else. It's a huge untapped resource. So give people an opportunity, give people a chance, and let's move forward.
Thank you very much, Deputy Ferey. Back to you guys. We are here with the Bereford Street Kitchen, who are going to talk a little bit to us about what they're doing to support Embrace Our Difference and diversity in the workplace.
Hiya, so at Bereford Street Kitchen we provide education, training and employment for people with learning disabilities and or autism. We've also been working with Skills Jersey this year as a pilot and done some Project Trident stuff. There's a video of us at the moment around getting all our crew out into the workplace, having workplace training, trying different environments as to what they're used to every day. So we provide workplace training and adult education.
Thank you very much. Over to you guys. Welcome back, everybody, to Embrace Our Difference 2023. We're here with one of our main sponsors, PwC, who's going to talk to us a little bit about their achievements in diversity in the workplace and what they're doing to support Embrace Our Difference.
Thank you very much. We're delighted to be here and sponsor this event, particularly sponsoring Mark's talk later on. As an organisation, we really think diversity is really important. And it takes so many different forms, you know, both physical diversity, but also, you know, the invisible diversities, neurodiversity and so forth that, you know, are harder to see. For us, we want to be a progressive employer. We want to try and give everybody opportunity. And as our business grows and the nature of services we offer changes, it becomes increasingly important to attract people with different skill sets, different ways of thinking to help us solve difficult problems. So, you know, we're really focused on trying to open up that opportunity to as many different types of people as we can. So we were very lucky to have Mark come into our office this morning and give presumably a slight preview of what he's going to talk about later on. And I can honestly say it's really fascinating, very insightful, and it's given us a huge amount to think about that will help motivate, inspire us to do better and do more in this space. So a really important topic. For us, both as an organisation in terms of recruiting people, but also in terms of making sure that we have the right behaviours and attitudes for the clients that we're servicing as well. So we're delighted to be here.
Thank you very much, and back to you guys.
I believe that some key areas where Jersey businesses could enhance their support for people with disabilities is thinking more in terms of a long-term sense about the longevity of changes that can be made, rather than just thinking that it might be a temporary change for a specific employee. Because if more permanent changes were made, then it would benefit someone long past the employee's time at the company, because it might even benefit members of the public as well, depending on what the business is and what they offer.
Welcome back to Embrace Our Difference, guys. We are here with Thor Assistive Technologies, and we're going to see a little bit of action today. And we're going to get a little demonstration about what they're doing and the kind of technology they're bringing into the world now to help people in general. I'll pass over to you.
Thank you. Yeah, we're looking at a range of different end effector robots here, which are basically helping people with disabilities, stroke, spinal cord injury, and you know, any really sort of muscle weakness. We can take people from a very sort of passive situation, so the device will actually be able to move and manipulate the person's arm in this instance. So we have devices for arms, legs, different parts of the body. What we're doing here, we've actually linked these two devices, so you can imagine you could have two patients competing against each other. You can assess the person individually, so if somebody has less movement than the other, it doesn't make any difference because their device is suited to them and their range of movement is programmed. It just means that then they can compete on an equal playing field. The idea of the whole system really is that when you offer more repetition and exercise intensity into rehabilitation, you get better results, and it's well proven. The idea of this is that not only are you getting those extra repetitions and that extra work, is that obviously we're making the whole experience a much more fun experience. So when people are going to physio, rather than just picking things up, putting it in a box, or, you know, traditional methods, this really enhances the traditional methods that are there. We're amplifying what the person can do. And not only that, we obviously make it more fun for the individual. So when they get to the end of their session, they have no idea how many repetitions they've done. But actually, during that same, say, 45-minute rehab session, they'll have done maybe 3, 4, 5 times the amount of repetitions they would have done in a traditional session. So that then helps, obviously, with their recovery, the speed of the recovery, and how well they recover. We can govern how the person moves within the device as well. So you tend to avoid some of the compensatory behaviours that develop. So if somebody with a stroke, you ask them to get something off a shelf, they'll tend to use their shoulder rather than their bicep. So with this, we can concentrate on particular movements. So it, again, aids with that recovery. But yeah, we're seeing how that can work in this setting. We can obviously have a physio on one of the devices. We can have 2 patients competing. We can even link them on Wi-Fi to different clinics. So in one of the facilities in Sheffield, they actually have a tournament on a Thursday night, for example, so it becomes part of the residents' programme. And then throughout here, obviously, we're concentrating on arms and upper limb here, but we're also then other devices which then can be used on different muscle groups, all the way through to exoskeleton, which you can walk somebody who's either completely paralysed, but also somebody who's maybe suffered a stroke, where it will persuade them into a more regular gait pattern to help stop some of those compensatory behaviours. And again, repetition is the key. So the more repetitions you can give people, the better they can recover, and obviously as early as possible.
Yeah. Well, thank you very much. It looks like a lot of fun, but back to you guys. Welcome back to Embrace Our Difference, guys. We are here with the JDC, who are going to talk a little bit about how they're supporting this event and what they're doing about diversity in the workplace.
Good evening.
How are you today?
I'm very good, thank you, and thanks for the invite back to the event for this year. I'm very, very pleased that Jersey Development Company are proud to be supporting this again. I think it's a fantastic event. I think you've actually got, correct me, but I think you've got more stallholders this year, more businesses represented than you had previously. So I think that's fantastic that more and more businesses and organisations are getting on board.
Perfect. Thank you very much. Back to you guys. Hi guys, welcome back. We're just with the JDC again, who are going to talk a little bit more about what they're doing in the community right now. And here we have Lee.
Good evening again. So Jersey Development Company is 100% owned by the government of Jersey. We are effectively the regeneration arm of government. So we're delivering new buildings and new places, primarily in St Helier. We've got a real focus on delivering new public infrastructure. So we've delivered all of the parks and gardens down here on the waterfront. So the Weybridge, Marina Gardens, Jardin de la Mer, Trenton Square have all been delivered by the company. And we've got a real focus on ensuring that those places are inclusive, so the whole community can enjoy those new areas. We also encourage the use of those areas for public events. So whether that be sporting events, culture events, we've had over 200 events on those public areas over the past decade. And this Christmas, Jersey Development Company has organised and funded the ice rink that's at the Weybridge. So this is the first time we've had an ice rink on the island since 2019, and so far it's proved really, really popular. And for the first time ever, we're actually keeping that open until the end of February half term. So we've got 3 months of ice in Jersey. So we encourage all families and individuals to come down and enjoy themselves on the ice. We are providing every primary school pupil with a free ticket, and we're liaising with the primary schools to organise those sessions during school time. And we're also providing every secondary school pupil with a half-price ticket, so that they can come and have a session on the ice. So yeah, it's really it's a very inclusive rink. Wheelchairs can go on the rink. I think we had actually somebody on the rink in a pushchair at the opening evening. So we're encouraging everybody to come down and really have fun on the ice. And again, I think another first, for the first time ever, we've actually got a zone designated for curling, and we've got all of the stones and brushes for the curling. So it's there for the community to enjoy and have fun, and we look forward to welcoming everybody down there. So thank you.
Thank you very much, Lee. And back to you guys. I recommend you guys get on the ice. It sounds like a lot of fun.
I think it's really important for organisations to have a workforce that's diverse and includes people with disabilities. I think the figures currently show that 1 in 7 people have a disability. So that means that your client base is the same, whether that's a client who's paying for your services or it's an end service user. The more diverse your workforce is internally, the better equipped you are to understand and provide a service to your clients.
Welcome back, everybody, to Embrace Our Difference. We are now here with Andium, who are going to talk a little bit about what they're doing to support the event and how they are tackling diversity in the workplace. Over to you.
Hi, thank you. Hi, I'm Nikki from Andium. We're here today to represent Andium Homes, which is one of the largest social housing providers in the island. Although our main objective is to deliver affordable homes to the community, we recognise that we can't do that alone. We have a very wide range of clients that live in our homes, and for us, attending this event is about how we can demonstrate we work in partnership together with other organisations in the island to improve inclusivity, be more diverse and more equitable within our community. We work with a very large number of organisations and charities that are here today, but also making new connections with new people, and that's what's really important to us, is that connection and ensuring that we can build inclusive communities.
Thank you very much. And back to you guys. To embrace our difference, we're here with our keynote speaker, Mark, who's going to talk to us a little bit about diversity in the workforce and some of the things Jersey could work on. I'll pass you over to Mark.
Hi, I was going to say thank you so much for inviting me to your beautiful island, which is absolutely amazing. Obviously, it's a bit windy, but you know, but it's all good. No, you know, like when I got the invite, obviously to be the face of the Embrace Our Difference campaign, I was really chuffed about it. I didn't know. I've got to admit, I didn't know much about Jersey, but I did lots of research. And do you know what? You know, for a small island, I actually think they're doing actually quite a lot. You know, yesterday I visited the Acorn, is it Jersey Enterprise, Jersey Enterprise Training? And I was actually kind of blown away by the scope of the project, and most importantly, how many disabled people that you know, they were actually helping and you know, and supporting. And actually just coming here today, considering that, okay, again, you know, so it is a relatively small island, about just over 100,000 people. But when you actually look at the range of charities, and all these different charities are actually supporting disabled people, and obviously trying to get them to work, obviously trying to make them independent. You know, to me, you know, it's quite heartwarming, to put it that way.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Mark, and back to you guys.
So for me, you know, I think there's a lot of work that's actually being done in regards to diversity inclusion, but I don't think there's enough work being done for disabled people yet. You know, I don't know if you've heard this expression, but disability is the poor cousin of diversity inclusion, in terms of actually when you look at it, we've still got a very high employment rate. I think it's actually more like 3 to 1. So you know, so it's great to have initiatives like this who are actually basically addressing the issue. But most importantly, having companies. I know PwC actually sponsored this event. I actually went this morning to actually talk to them. And again, it's good to see big corporations, traditional corporations, embracing diversity inclusion, actually wanting to actually do something about it, and most importantly, trying to get more disabled people within the workforce. Because as I said, we are the most discriminated group out of all minorities, and considering that we are the biggest minority. Is that good?
All right.
Super.
Thank you very much, and back to you guys.
So I had a really positive experience where my work adapted the building and facilities prior to me working there. It is an older building, so to compensate for the older facilities, they allow me to work from home often, which really helps to get the job done, my job done really well and really quickly.
Welcome back, guys. I'm here to give you the schedule for the rest of the evening. So in the La Rocco function room from 6:45 to 7:05 p.m. will be a deaf choir. And at 7:05 to 7:15 p.m. we will have Malcolm Ferey introductory speech. 7:15 to 7:22 we will have Clyde-Smith with a video introduction. 7:23 to 7:45 p.m. will be Dr Mark Esho MBE guest speaker. From 7:45 to 7:55, there'll be a Q&A with Dr. Mark Esho, and from 7:55 to 8 p.m., Malcolm Ferey will give a closing speech. In the Noirmont suite, which is located behind reception, We will have from 4:30 to 5 p.m. there was a deaf community talk. From 5:30 to 6 p.m. will be hidden disabilities. And from 6:30 to 7 p.m. will be the JACS Work is Good for All of Us, so let's make it work talk. Thank you everybody, and back to you.
People as want to, please take a seat and we will get proceedings underway. I'll just give people a few minutes to do that. So we have a great evening ahead of us, and to kick things off, I give you the Inclusion Project and Friends Sign Singing Choir. Give them a big hand.
Hard to take courage Second one. Second one. One more. David. David.
Thank you. Thank you. Be careful. Be careful. Sorry. Carry on. Okay. I just carry on, lights, filming, action. Record it. Repeat it. Okay. Carry on music. That will look better.
You okay?
Yeah.
Ready?
Yeah. Ready.
Light.
Hit it.
I used to bite my tongue and hold my breath, scared to rock the boat and make a mess. So I said quietly, agreed politely. I guess that I forgot I had a choice. I let you push me past the breaking point. I stood for nothing, so I fell for everything. You held me down, but I got up. Already brushing off the dust. You hear my voice, you hear that sound. Like thunder gonna shake the ground. You held me down, but I got up. Get ready, cause I've had enough. I see it all, I see it now. I got the eye of the tiger. Dancing through the fire. I am a champion, and you're gonna hear me roar. Louder than a lion. I am a champion, and you're gonna hear me roar. Now I'm floating like a butterfly, stinging like a bee. I earned my stripes. I went from 0 to my own hero. You held me down, but I got up. Already brushing off the dust. You hear my voice, you hear that sound. Like thunder gonna shake the ground. You held me down, but I got up. Get ready, cause I've had enough. I see it all, I see it now. I got the eye of the tiger. Dancing through the fire. 'Cause I am a champion, and you're gonna hear me roar. Louder than a lion. 'Cause I am a champion, and you're gonna hear me roar.
Thank you.
Thank you, Shamina.
What a way to start the evening. Excellent. So, allow me to introduce myself. I'm Deputy Malcolm Ferey and I'm your host for this evening. And it gives me great pleasure to be here today for the third Embrace Our Difference event. This event is an opportunity to celebrate the achievements of the many organisations represented here that provide support, deliver services and advocate on behalf of their clients. It is important to promote a diverse workforce that ensures every individual, including those with disabilities, has every opportunity to succeed. As we look towards the future of our island, it is crucial that we embrace diversity in all its forms, recognising that our collective strength lies in our differences. A diverse workforce is not just a moral imperative, it is a strategic necessity for the prosperity and well-being of our island. By welcoming individuals with diverse backgrounds, abilities and perspectives into our workforce, we enrich the tapestry of our society. In an investment in the talent, creativity and unique skills that each person brings to the table. When we talk about diversity, we must explicitly address the inclusion of individuals with disabilities. Creating an environment where people with disabilities have equal opportunities is not only a matter of justice, but also a path to unlocking untapped potential. We are fortunate to live in an island where talents and abilities vary widely, and it is our duty to ensure that everyone, regardless of their physical or cognitive differences, can contribute meaningfully. In Jersey, we boast a community that values inclusivity and compassion, yet we must actively translate these values into action within our workforce. Enjoying individuals with disabilities is not merely a gesture of goodwill. It is a strategic move that enhances our collective capabilities. By tapping into the diverse skill sets of people with disabilities, we can foster innovation, creativity and resilience, qualities that are indispensable in today's rapidly changing world. Moreover, a diverse workforce that includes individuals with disabilities reflects the true sense of equality. It sends a powerful message about the kind of society we aspire to be. A society where everyone, regardless of their abilities, has the chance to thrive, contribute and lead fulfilling lives. As we champion diversity in the workforce, let us remember that it is not just about ticking boxes or meeting quotas. It is about creating a culture of inclusion, where individuals feel valued, respected and empowered to bring their authentic selves to work. The commitment is not just good for business, it is a testament to our commitment to building a fair and compassionate society. In conclusion then, let us strive for a future where every person in Jersey, regardless of their abilities, can succeed and contribute to the prosperity of our island. By embracing diversity, we pave the way for a brighter and more inclusive future, where everyone's potential is recognised, celebrated and utilised for the greater good of our community. Thank you. So next, I'd like to welcome up onto the stage Philip Clyde-Smith, please.
Thanks. Hi, good evening. I'm Philip Clyde-Smith, as you said. So I'm a filmmaker, mainly directing TV commercials, but I got involved with this short film you're about to see, which shines a spotlight on the importance of work placements and opportunities for individuals with disabilities and autism. And I just want to really quickly just thank, I'm not sure if they're here, Sam and Luke, because they were amazing. They really made the film. And they were so considerate, thoughtful, impressive. It was, it's a real privilege. And also, I want to thank everyone who was involved in the interviews, because quite a few of them did not want to be in front of the camera, which was fun. But before we play the short film, I just wanted to leave you with this thought. Hannah from Trident, she made the statement in the film, and she said, "You can't aspire to be something if you've not seen it." And interestingly, in the interview outtakes, which aren't in the film, Hannah used me as an example. How many white male able directors are there? When had I seen growing up, and it made me realise that if I hadn't seen people like me in my role as a director, it would have been it's another barrier to trying to do what I wanted to do in life. And I just want to leave you with that thought, and enjoy the film. And it's.
So Berwick Street Kitchen provides education, training and employment for people with learning disabilities and or autism. The guys that we have here, there's a huge untapped workforce. The skills they've got are phenomenal. They just aren't being recognised for their skills. There's people kind of a preconceived idea of learning disabilities and autism, and actually we see on a daily basis that they want to work. They don't want to be sat at home on benefit. They're more than capable of being out there in the world of work. We just need people to give them a chance to prove themselves and show the skills that they have.
Because over the last year or two we've been kind of trying to develop external work experience ourselves with outside employers, and we've had some absolutely great partnerships, but it has been really, really hard work to find placements.
So Trident is a 2-week unpaid work experience placement. So this year is different for Trident because we have also included a 2-week block for the BSK learners.
So yeah, really exciting, and yeah, the main emphasis of it is for crew to have the opportunity to go and experience a different workplace.
While I was on my course, I had my Trident letter. I opened it up. I was shocked at joined sports straight away after that. I've been doing swimming lessons. Then I came here to do sports with Claudia. After this, I'm going to LD bikes. Really proud and excited.
Sam, he's really confident and he gets stuck in, as the session went on, he started including those coaching tips, and I definitely don't see why not he couldn't carry on doing stuff like this, or with other organisations as well.
First day was I set up a piano, and second day we tested some new lights we got.
Luke's been great. He's engaged with everything. He hasn't failed in anything we asked him to do. Theatre is inclusive, so it makes sense that Trident includes people in this environment.
When I leave BSK, I would like to join sports, like to help others need help with different sports, but I serve to work.
So currently we don't have any employees right now with disabilities. However, this is something that we really, really would like to push forwards with in the near future. I think that they can then be role models for us within the organisation and break down certain barriers and stigmas within society that we currently have now. And that would be something I'd love to see in a couple of years' time from starting these kind of projects.
In the future, I would like to be working in an environment like this, like a stagehand. It's good to work in general because working in places can build up your confidence and you get your own money as well.
But we do find when we get to that point where they're applying for jobs that there are massive barriers. So they're applying for lots and lots of live jobs and just not getting callbacks, not getting responses to their applications.
So you can't aspire to be something if you've not seen it.
You go to the dentist and you see that someone there has employed someone with a learning disability. You then, in your own business, can see how well that person is and be more open to then employing someone yourself, and it kind of has that kind of snowball effect.
crew and people with learning disabilities and autism are a totally untapped workforce. And I mean, people have huge recruitment issues in Jersey. Actually, recruiting somebody with learning disability or autism might take a small amount more input to start with, but that person might then stay for 20 years.
If somebody was to work with us in a wheelchair, we'd move where we operate things from. You know, they have a purpose, they have a function, they have an ability to work. It's up to us to meet those requirements.
To have someone saying they have a learning disability doesn't tell you anything about their skills. Meet them, come in and see them, give them a trial, let them actually show you the amazing skills that they have.
People with disabilities, people with autism, they can do anything if they set their mind to it. Like me, basically.
What a very powerful film, Philip. Thank you very much for that. Excellent. So now we move to our keynote speaker for this evening, who's a motivational speaker and an author. I give you Dr Mark Esho MBE.
Hello, how's it going? Good evening, everybody. Wow, what a fantastic audience, and I say what a lovely island that you've got at the same time. You know, after the performance of the choir, I think I should be doing some sort of dance, just to follow it up. But I'm not going to, because I can't dance and I can't sing either. So anyway, so we're going to talk about in terms of, I'm going to talk a little bit about me. How about that? Okay. So this presentation is entitled "Disabled People Want Jobs, Not Benefits." So I'm going to go back in time. So that's me, DBA. Those are the names of my companies. I've won various business awards. Those are just some of them. I'm also a policy advisor for the Federation of Small Business. A few years ago, I got an MBE. I wear that with pride. For services to business. Some people think I got it for disability, but anyway, it's actually for services to business. I'm also the best-selling author of I Can, I Will. So, about me. Contrary to what a lot of people believe, most disabled people that you meet are actually not actually born with a disability. I think the figures are around 80%, which is quite a significant amount of disabled people out there who actually acquire a disability during their lifetime. And what happened with me, that's me obviously when I was about, I think that's the last picture of me before I became disabled. So the last pandemic, those of you that might be old enough, but I actually wasn't old enough myself anyway, was the polio virus. And by the time I caught the polio virus, it is actually being completely eradicated in the UK. People actually think that I actually acquired this in Africa. That's where my parents are from. But no, I actually caught it in Leicester. And up to today, no one knows how I managed to catch the polio virus. So one evening, I got up in the middle of the night, walked to the toilet, walked back into bed, and then I had a really violent fit and I blacked out. And the next thing I know, I was in Leicester Royal Infirmary, completely paralyzed from the neck down. So I'm one of the few people who knows what it's like to be completely paralyzed. And I was like that for possibly for about a year or so. And essentially, they found out that I'd actually had polio and had a severe bout of polio as well. And it took possibly about 2 to 3 years to start to gain some movement back from it. And that's, well, actually that's not me, by the way, but I just had a picture of a child actually, looking paralyzed. And sorry, I'm just trying to make sure that we've got the right take. Okay, we've got the right slides here. So, so the extent of my recovery is, fortunately, I can walk, considering, but my left leg is completely dead. I've got 10% on my right leg, 50% on my arm. Obviously, a lot of people don't know that. So technically, I've only got one limb that's actually 100%. But lo and behold, I actually managed to walk with it. And one of the things my parents always said to me as a child is that you need to get an education because an education will level the playing field. But it's hard getting an education if you're in a wheelchair, if you're disabled, if you've got mobility issues like I had, because most institutions are not accessible. So one of my biggest challenges growing up was actually trying my best to get that education. But I persevered and ended up with a master's degree. I've now got a DBA, which is a doctor in business administration, but I actually got the MBA. And I thought to myself that now that I've got my MBA, that I can now hit the job market, and everyone's going to be the employers are going to be falling over themselves to actually, to actually want me to actually work for them. Unfortunately, that wasn't the case. I must have applied for over 100 jobs, and it was just one excuse after the other. The main excuse I got is that I was actually overqualified. So I ended up dumbing down. So I decided to actually dumb down on my qualifications. I dumbed down to degree level. And the only opportunity I then got was to dumb all the way down to A levels. And I think, I don't know, for some strange reason, employers felt a bit comfortable actually offering a disabled person a job who's just got A levels as opposed to someone who's actually got a master's degree. But anyway, I obviously did some menial jobs, as you would say, and eventually someone gave me a chance, and I ended up being a finance manager for an organization. I think the organization employed over 100 people, and I had a really good, high position within that organization. But unfortunately, life wasn't done with me yet. After several years, I developed the late effects of polio, which is similar to what some people are having now with long COVID. And what I didn't know, and even actually some of the doctors didn't know either, is that after several years, probably about 20, 30 years, a lot of people who developed polio end up suffering from Parkinson's-type symptoms. So they develop tremors. The most profound is the chronic fatigue. I'm always knackered. I'm even knackered now, but but I've had some coffee, so I'm good to go. Lots of coffee, and tremors. So, which was a major blow for me because I'd worked so hard to get that job, really, really hard, and but unfortunately, I had to leave. I wasn't pushed. I hasten to say I wasn't pushed. I decided to leave because I did not want to be a burden on my employer. And interesting enough, a lot of disabled people actually feel the same way. As well. So I left, and that's when I ended up actually going into business. So I'm not going to go through my business whole business journey because that's a whole presentation in itself. But I set up my first company exactly 23 years ago, Easy Internet Services, which is a digital marketing agency. I was one of the first people to set up a digital marketing agency in the Midlands. Some of the companies I worked for The Guardian, I worked for the Co-op, I worked for Amstrad, so I worked for some really big brands. In 2004, I set up a web hosting company called Easy Internet Solutions. Again, we were one of the first companies to offer free web hosting in the UK. If you don't know what web hosting is, think of GoDaddy. Does everyone know GoDaddy? You see, everyone knows GoDaddy. exactly what makes that. Okay, we're not as big as GoDaddy. We're like down there. GoDaddy's up there. But anyway, we sold that company a couple of years ago, and I've set up various businesses through there. But I'm not going to go too much about until I said my business journey. You can ask me later about it, and I'll tell you. But in 2013, I got a letter in the post. And it was an invite from David Cameron. I know he's back now, isn't he, David Cameron? I like David Cameron. But no matter what you think of him, he's actually he's a great he's a great guy. And I got invited I think there's three of us. I was one of three disabled entrepreneurs invited to meet him at the launch of the Disability Confidence campaign, and that's me actually talking to him. I didn't have a suit on. Actually, that's one regret I actually had, is actually not wearing a suit. But you know what? I didn't have a suit back then, so I still haven't got a suit now. I don't wear suits, but anyway. So and from then on, I then kind of just got the I felt an obligation to try to get more disabled people into work, and especially within my companies. So from then on, what I've been doing is I've been giving talks. I give talks with MPs. I've also do talks with the DWP, Department of Work and Pensions, and also the job centres, giving talks to employers and talking about some of the issues or trying to dispel some of these myths about employing disabled people. So let's look at some of these issues, because I know everyone likes to talk about diversity and inclusion, don't they? It's a very hot topic at the moment. But they're not really, one thing that they're not often talk about is the disability discrimination. Disability, to a certain extent, is the poor cousin of diversity and inclusion. We are the biggest minority, but we are the least empowered as well. And if you just look at the stats, in the UK, I'm sure there's a correlation between the UK stats and Jersey, but we've got about 13.8 million disabled people actually in the UK. 22% of employers actually believe, why is that cut off slightly? Sorry. Okay. 22% of employers believe disabled people are not fit for purpose. And I'll tell you what, this is actually very shocking statistics, because there was an article in the Independent newspaper about 4 years ago, and they surveyed a number of employers, and 22% of them actually said, we believe disabled people are crap. Now, if they said that about any other minority, there'd be a massive uproar. I'm sure some of you feel angry about that, don't you? But you know what? Hardly anything was actually said about it. And I think that's one of the fundamental issues that we've got. Now, another statistic that's interesting is that 67% of people have got a disability bias, which is quite significant actually when you think about it. So if you're going for an interview, there's a chance, 2 out of 3 people that you meet have probably got some sort of bias towards you. I'm just going to go on to the next slide. So what are some of the issues that, that employers have actually got with us disabled people? Number one, they say that we're less productive. They say we're not good for the business image. They also say we take more time off sick. And one of the other excuses is that, one of the common excuses is they say finding disabled people to hire is hard. But guess what their number one excuse is? Does anyone guess? They're hard to fire. So they reckon that once we get through that door, we're not going out, because you can't get rid of us. Which is absolute nonsense at the end of the day. So if you actually look to dispel some of these myths, there's zero evidence that disabled people are less productive. Okay, we may lack the skills, we may lack the education, I can agree with that. But that's mainly because we haven't got access to that education. It takes a lot of effort. Like if you go to an institution or university or college that's not accessible, you've got to be really determined to get that education. Because you're going to, obviously, you've got the physical barrier, but also you've actually got all the discrimination that you're going to face from your lecturers and also from your fellow students as well. And in terms of the fact that we're not good for your business image, you've got to ask yourself, is that morally right for organizations to actually think that? And in terms of finding disabled people to hire, you've got the job centre. You could easily, obviously adopt the Disability Confidence campaign and actually say, okay, I'm going to advertise and say disabled people are welcome. So again, that to me is just like a frivolous excuse as to why they want to employ us. Going to go to the next one. So what's the solution? So one of the things that I've done within my companies is I find that communication is key. Is I would ask somebody in terms of, okay, what's the nature of your disability? How can I support you? Like, for instance, if they come for an interview, I say, you know, what's your journey been like? Because I've been into interviews before where I've had a really bad journey, and I know it's affecting my performance to actually get there because some of the obstacles I faced just to get to that interview. So again, I think communication is key. And also as well, is for employers not to be afraid to ask questions. It's almost like employers are a bit, I don't know, a bit apprehensive about offending people. But probably it's easier for me because I'm disabled. I can just ask these questions and not feel anything about it. Interview flexibility. I stopped because before I had one size fit all. Now I just interview the person in front of me. If I feel that that person will not cope with a rigorous interview process, what I do is I just sit them down with a tea, you know, with a tea, coffee, and biscuits, and have like a informal chat. And through that, you're then interviewing them at the same time. Also, I never make assumptions. So, like, say for instance, if I turned up, I'm gonna ask the audience this. So, if I turned up at your office in a wheelchair and you had a step, would you be confident enough to ask me as to whether I can get in or not? Anybody? Would you? Okay, but interesting enough, I would ask the question because just because I'm in a wheelchair doesn't mean I can't walk. It actually does not mean I can't do a step or two. And again, it's all about actually being confident enough in saying, okay, you know, can you do this or can't you not? But a lot of people won't because again, they actually don't want to offend. Okay, again, employees again, I think they need to make more reasonable adjustments. One of the best kept secrets is access to work, which most people, well, actually not most people have actually heard about, but a lot of employers, businesses haven't heard about, in that disabled people can get support from the government, in the UK government, and I'm sure it's the same as Jersey as well, of up to £60,000 a year to actually support that person. But most importantly, most reasonable adjustments actually only cost a few £100. Sometimes it's just a ramp. You know, it could be like an hearing aid. You know, I've employed people who I've applied to access to work, and it's only costing about £200-300 just for some of the adjustments that they've made. And one thing I've been advocating this since 2010, is remote working. You know, it does really help for people to manage their disability, and I think that's one of the things that's actually been one of my, in terms of for me being in business, is the fact that I've been able to manage my disability a lot more effectively. Like for instance, if you ask me to work 40 hours a week, work 9 to 5 or 9 to 6, I can't, I'd fail. If you ask me to work 60 hours a week on a flexible basis, no problem, I can do it. And again, I think this is where the flexibility comes into. But you know what's most important is to give disabled people a chance. So I'm just going to go on to the last slide, so I don't know how long I've been talking for. How am I doing for time? Keep on going. Oh gosh, I can go all night. Okay, so what I've done is, you know, I've done a take on the SWOT analysis. You know, like when you're actually planning a project or doing something, you know, you do the old SWOT, don't you? You know, you do the strengths, weakness, opportunities, and threats. But let's look at some of the strengths of disabled people in general. We have got fantastic problem-solving skills because every day is a battle for us. And we've got to navigate so many obstacles that inherently you develop these problem-solving skills which then become transferable to your employer. We're very resilient, again, very adaptable as well. And we offer a diverse perspective at the same time. So if you look at some of the weaknesses, okay, and I've put a question mark on that, in terms of lack of education, question mark, we can be educated, obviously with the right support. Lack of experience, often we just need a chance to gain that experience. And I proved that in terms of when I was looking for a job, is that I just needed that opportunity to actually gain some experience. As a result, then I can actually then progress my career. So, opportunities. We are, and there's evidence to show this, that we are long-term, loyal, and dedicated employees. Do you know when I first got my first proper job? I call it a proper job, by the way. It's not some of the other jobs that I did. I was often the first one in and the last one out, because I was so appreciative of having a job, and I was so happy to actually have that job. Also, reduction in staff turnover. We tend to stay in jobs a lot longer than our able-bodied counterparts. Also, millennials, we know millennials, also Gen X, apparently there's research to show that they prefer to work for a diverse company. It's positive for the brand image, and also it can also increase your customer base as well. And okay, the elephant in the room is the threat. Litigation. So you think that once we come in, you can't get rid of us because we might sue. That's absolute nonsense. Sorry, I've got to say that. Because if you've got robust HR policies in place, it's very easy to actually fire a disabled person. I've fired lots of disabled people. I've got no issues with it whatsoever. I just follow the procedures. And I think that's me done. Any questions? Thank you. Right, you can ask me anything you want, okay? Absolutely anything you want. I don't mind.
Any questions? Rare opportunity for us.
Thanks very much. Great speech. Thanks very much.
Thank you.
Enjoyed it. I think there's a lot of businesses here. Where do they start, if they haven't already, in becoming more diverse and inclusive? And is there a roadmap? Do we just talk to other people? Where's the first bridge? And I've talked to people here today that are thinking this very thought, so I'd just like to ask you the question.
That's a very good question, and thanks for and asking that. I think the first thing to do is actually look at the government's Disability Confident campaign. Before we used to have the 2 ticks, but now it's called the Disability Confident campaign, and actually then gives you 5 commitments that a business can follow, and it kind of gives you the guidelines as well. And secondly, I'd actually say is look at what access to work has got to offer. In the UK, I think it's only about 20% of companies actually know what access to work does, also what it's got to offer. But like when you're advertising your jobs, if it's something that you feel, actually, a disabled person might be able to do this, just put it in the job advert and saying, or just say, applications are welcome for all sections of the community. So that kind of just feels, makes you feel, I can apply as well. Does that answer your question?
Yes, thank you.
No problem. Right, anybody else? Come on, please, someone ask me a question. It's just it's all right.
Hi. Can I be cheeky and ask 2 questions?
Absolutely, fire away.
Thank you very much. Okay, first question. What is the most common example of discrimination you've either personally experienced or witnessed in the workplace?
I think for me, it's actually more the stigma, is people will see the wheelchair, they won't see you. And as a result, I think a lot of disabled people have got a massive credibility gap. So if you go into a room and, and if, like, for instance, if you're only the only wheelchair user there, you'll find that, a lot of people are not going to talk to you, in general. So I think it's that stigma actually more than anything else, in that they just think disabled people are, I don't know, should be on benefits or needy or whatever, but it's just those negative stereotypes.
Thank you, appreciate the honest answer. My second question then, if you could list it in 3 bullet points.
3 bullet points, okay.
What are the 3 key takeaways or quick wins you could share with everyone here that they could apply to their businesses tomorrow to support someone with a disability?
Well, I think I've already touched upon that already, is to apply. It's free to apply to the Disability Confidence campaign. It's the criteria, I think it's only got 5 commitments. They're very, very easy to follow. Like, for instance, just make sure your job adverts are accessible, make sure you give equal opportunity to disabled people actually wanting to apply. So that would be number 1. My number 2, again, just repeating myself, is access to work. I think more employers need to be aware and be better educated in terms of what access to work can offer, and also the benefits that it can offer a lot of disabled people as well. Because don't forget, this is actually quite interesting in regards to access to work, is that some disabled people have actually got personal assistants. And those personal assistants can actually go to them, to the workplace as well. Access to work would actually pay also for your transport. So, there is an awful lot of support there for disabled people. And also it's going to be a great benefit to the employer as well, if they actually know about it. And then the third thing is, as I said, is just keep an open mind. And actually, don't judge, don't prejudge people. Give them a chance, listen to them, and then after that, then make up your mind. Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. It's just a quick point, and Jersey's very different, but we don't have the same access. We don't have access to work in Jersey. No, we don't. So there are other opportunities, but there's not the same access for people in Jersey in the same way.
Right. So I didn't realise. I thought access to work was in Jersey as well.
It's up to £5,000, so we don't have PAs to go into work with people and things like that.
Right. So you've only got access to work is limited to £9,000 in Jersey. Is that correct?
5,000.
Oh, 5,000. Okay,
Yeah.
That's not going to do much then, is it? Yes. So
this is actually. No. Hello. Yeah, really close. This is actually a question from my daughter, actually.
Okay.
Well, there's 2. There's one from me, and there's one from her. I'm going to sly one in there. The sly one I'm going to put in there is, when you see advertisements for 5 GCSEs, A to C, English and maths, blah, 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 she's not going to have those, but she knows she has the skills.
Absolutely.
So would you just apply for the job with a covering letter based on that, is kind of the parental voice? And then she wants to know what advice you'd give to an aspiring author.
Wow, phenomenal. Okay, right, the answers to question 1 is that when I recruit, I actually don't look at qualifications. And I can tell you why, is that my background is accountancy, and I'm into, obviously, IT, the internet. I actually taught myself. And in the beginning, I thought that if I employ people with computer science degrees, that they would be really good. And I actually found out it's actually people like me who are actually better. Because they're actually self-taught. Also, I found that people who are neurodiverse are excellent employees, by the way. So, they just get on with it without any issues. So again, I think employers need to start looking beyond qualifications. I know I've got a doctorate, I've got a master's degree and everything, but I think I could, I was still being successful in business despite my qualifications. As I said, I'm a big advocate for people who are self-taught. And the second question, aspiring author, is start writing articles. Start writing stuff. Right, for instance, have you got a blog? No, okay. Well. Okay, fair enough. Okay. Yeah, okay, excellent. But again, start putting stuff on your blog. Start doing that. Once you're comfortable doing that, then you can actually start to branch out and actually do some freelance work. So you go to websites like Upwork or freelancer.com, and then you can start offering to write for people. And that's how you start your journey.
See some people from the media around, so we'll be harassing you.
Yeah, exactly. Good idea. Exactly. That's awesome. Right, any other questions? Oh yeah, sure, John.
I'll just
Yeah, okay, sure.
In relation to the legislation, our disability discrimination law came in 2018. Obviously, the UK was way ahead of that. It's fair to say that our legislation has changed the culture in Jersey, which is brilliant.
Yes.
What parts of the legislation in the UK do you think are working well, and what could be improved?
That's a good question. I think what we've got the Disability Act, the 2010, and unfortunately, I think what we've got is that we've got rules and regulations that can't technically be enforced. So it's almost like a dog with no teeth. And I think what we need to do is go more towards the American model, whereby there's a lot more enforcement and there's a lot more penalties for actually discriminating against disabled people. And if Jersey can actually be obviously to actually adopt something like that, whereby there's a bit of a penalty for active discrimination, I think that would be great.
Okay, thank you.
No worries.
Any other questions? Yeah, Tom.
Have you got a question? Oh.
We'll just get a microphone to you, Tom. Just at the front. Is there a microphone on this side?
What was your favourite job that you did?
Oh gosh, that was that's an interesting question. Do you know what? My favourite job was is when I used to do digital marketing. I think that's what I used to enjoy the most. I'm a bit of a geek, to be quite honest. I'm a hardcore geek. So when I was working in accountancy, I was good at it, but I didn't really enjoy it. So for me, it's just working in IT. I think I like the complexities of everything that it presents, and it's because it's always evolving, it's always changing, because technology moves at such a very fast pace. So I think that's got to be my favourite job, and that's what I still do.
This relates to Malcolm's question slightly about the legal framework, but I wanted to ask your view about accreditation schemes for businesses. Do they work? Should there be more of them? Or are they tick box exercises? What are the pros and cons there, which maybe we might bring into Jersey?
I think you're putting me on the spot there, aren't you? I thought to myself, there's got to be one that's going to ask that tricky question. I think, again, is that when you actually look at the Disability Confident campaign, in general, is that, okay, it looks good on paper, but a lot of employers adopt it because it feels good. And, again, they're doing it because, again, it's, they're kind of just following the process without kind of really thinking about what they're doing more than anything else. And you know what? Your question has stumped me. I've got to be completely... So I think I might just... Can I take a slight pass on that one? Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Any other questions before we close them up?
Okay, simple ones, please. It's getting a bit late.
Hi. So obviously, as you've heard, we don't have a disability confidence scheme in Jersey, and our access to work is really different. It's quite old-fashioned.
Okay.
It doesn't include things like transport and interpreters, EAs, all of those little bits of help that can make a real difference. And if we were going to be changing things, because we've got a lot of people in the room here, what are the sort of big changes that you think, that Jersey could make as quick wins in terms of, I'd love to see having a proper grant system and all of those things, but it's just kind of, I don't know what works and what doesn't with thing. We don't want to repeat the same problems.
Well, I'll say, I'm not an expert in these areas. I'm just, I'm an entrepreneur who's just very passionate about getting more disabled people into work, and recently trying to get more disabled people actually into business. But I would actually say some of the quick wins could be job carving, is actually look at that person's ability and then try to develop that job around their strengths as opposed to their weaknesses. Also, shadowing is also good as well. Give people exposure. Work placements are great. A lot of disabled people find it really hard to get a work placement, you know, and that's something that, again, one of my social enterprises is actually working on at the moment. So those, to me, would actually be some of the quick wins. You're welcome.
Thank you. Crystal and I represent Autism Jersey, a charity here in the island. This is less of a question and more trying to formulate some thinking about everything we've seen and heard. And,
yes.
And I think it's a challenge to ourselves, really, which is it's really inspiring to be able to hear you and, you know, the motivation you've got and what you've achieved in employment. It is a real challenge to all of us, my thoughts are, isn't there something we can do to develop from this particular conference itself? This is the third year we've run it, I think, and every year seems to get better in what we're doing. And represented here are a number of local companies and businesses who are clearly on board with what we're about in wanting to get the best for all individuals. And there's a challenge to ourselves that you know, despite the fact that we don't have the benefits and we don't have particular legislation, we have a motivation and a drive to do something together between the government, between businesses, between ourselves as charities. Lots of people who have support needs have funding for staff to support them, and if that's in employment, we should be able to then go with the person wherever they are. And I just think there's a real opportunity to fly the flag. And I guess to those companies and businesses that are linking in with us now, can we do something and get people into work? And actually the money we've got for support in place now, let's shift it into the place of employment as well. I just think there's a real opportunity to build on what we're seeing here. We don't have to wait for legislation. We don't have to wait for changes in benefits. I think we could do something really creative because Jersey is quite unique. We can act, and we've got support from the government. We've had fantastic representation today and tonight from government members. And I just think there's enough of us here that could come together and I think do something quite unique that really helps those people who want to work get work.
I was just about to say, just to follow up with that in terms of some of the things I've done. And again, you know, I completely echo in terms of what you said there, is that if you can get a consortium of people together, like-minded people, have like a brainstorming sessions. Like one of the things that I've done is one of my social enterprises that we know how difficult it is for young disabled students to get placements. It's almost impossible. So what we've done is that we've actually created offices in some of the college campuses, well, for want of a better word, whereby employers offer the placement remotely. So the students are in a safe and secure environment, and the employment or the work is actually brought to them. And again, sometimes what you need to do with these things is just try to think outside the box and saying, okay, what can we do to actually support people? Because again, because often the norm doesn't work. And sometimes you've got to think to yourself, okay, you know, this could work. So now, we've now rolled that out to 3 schools now, well, 3 colleges, whereby we've now actually got, you know, proper placements for disabled students. And then the other thing that my second social enterprise does is business education for disabled people. We're the first in the UK to actually be offering that. I've teamed up with Leicester University because no one is offering business education to disabled people. Actually, no one's actually offering, sorry, for disabled entrepreneurs. I need to emphasize that it's not just sort of disabled entrepreneurs. You know, so what we do is we provide them with some of the core competencies that disabled people need to be successful in business. You're welcome. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thanks. Oops.
Okay, so let me just close up the evening by saying that it has been an honour to once again host the Embrace Our Difference event. It's a fantastic event which is growing by the year, and I can see it getting even bigger in the next few years. I've been inspired by the commitment, innovation and engagement of over 50 local and international organisations that have participated in this year's event. Thank you for your continuing support and hard work. I'd like to thank our keynote speaker, officially, Dr Mark Esho, for his motivational speech and fantastic answers to the questions. And thank you also to Patricia Rowan from JAX for her talk on work is good for us, so let's make it work. Carol Jordis for raising deaf awareness, and Ruth Rabbe from Hidden Disabilities, all very informative sessions. Lastly, I would like to thank our sponsors for their generous support. They are PwC, HSBC, JDC, JEC and Andium. And of course, not forgetting all the charities that were put in an effort to come here this afternoon and be part of this fantastic event. And of course, I can't close without thanking Dario and his very enthusiastic team for pulling all this together. So thank you and good night.